93, do what thou wilt should be the whole of the law. This is Asha Renew from AshaRenew.com. And in this particular live stream, I just want to make a couple things obvious and make a couple things clear that most people are really not really ready to hear because, we're just so caught up in conspiracy theories. That has become a whole market at this point, right? We want to know what the Masons are doing. We want to know what the Jesuits are doing. We want to know with all these people that are connected with these hidden organizations and this black hand, right? To the point where we feel like these are the grand superpowers. What's up, Cali? Peace. 93 to you. Salute to the goddess. You already know. Much love and respect as always. So we have a situation where, because we have been so trained, 93 mind too. What's up? Salute to you. Salute, salute. We have been used to, not trusting the government, right? The government, acts at its own will. It's not trying to abide by the Constitution, right? We've been hearing all this conspiracy stuff for who knows how long. I believe it really started with the book Behold a Pale Horse. I think that's when it really kicked off with that particular book, Behold a Pale Horse. I think that's what made it like mainstream because information had already been out there, but that book really brought it to the forefront, mainly because the author was killed right outside of his home, right? So once that happened, then that just became a legendary book, just due to the circumstances revolving around the author, who I believe also was a part of, the whether he was, in the military or he was in some form of military. So this is essentially where he was getting his information. Again, I'm just giving a broad history, right? If you want more details, you'll have to actually read the book yourself. Now, as I said, we have, what's up, Sharice 93, salute, salute. Much love and respect. Again, we have been so trained to dig into conspiracy theories. We're trying to uncover the deep state, right? That's another one, right? We're trying to figure out what's going on with the Biden family. We're trying to figure out what's going on with all these factors, right? What I'm here to say is it's over with for all that. Why do I say that? Because America is no longer the superpower of the world. It's no longer the case. All of these so-called powers that be that we always are concerned about, they are no longer the powers that be, meaning they can only hold a position if America is number one, which is not the case. Ever since we involved ourselves in Ukraine, and I'm talking about before Russia came in with the special military operation, meaning we were already invested in Ukraine. That's why we are defending Ukraine, because we had already had prior investments in Ukraine that we're unwilling to give up. So because of our unwillingness to give up the investments we have in Ukraine, whether you want to call it biolabs in Ukraine, the development of new diseases and new pandemics and all type of, corruption, Ukraine is actually the most corrupt place on the planet at this point. But we already know that. Like, if you've been following the news, that's already known. They don't even know where most of the money is going. So when we see these big amounts that are being donated to Ukraine for their military and for the rebuilding of their country, most of that money is not even being monitored. So they're doing whatever they want to do with the money. And we're just letting it happen. You know why we're letting it happen? Because this is just a time for that energy to cease to exist. What I mean by that is when Ukraine loses the war, because Ukraine will lose, there is no way that Ukraine will be victorious against Russia, especially at this point now that Russia and China are synchronized. See, people may have said whatever they wanted to say before, right? What's up, Nefertiti? 93. Salute, much love and respect to you. For basically up until this point, it's just been about, not just the US, but also, the NATO, right? All the NATO countries, right? They have been supplying Ukraine with weaponry, with defense, so on and so forth, right? But we see that it is crippling their own economy, just like what's going on over here. Meaning, if you have been paying attention to world news, you see that they have been dealing with protests in France. Germany, they had to shut down the entire transit system. That means no airplanes, no trains, no travel, because all of the workers had a 24-hour strike. Even in here, I did a video about Los Angeles. They had a 3-day strike because it's just not enough money being made to match the inflation that's going on. So people are literally on survival mode, right? None of this will be happening if we were the superpowers. How are we observing the destruction of our own country as well as the whole EU? The whole EU is going through hell right now because of what's going on in Ukraine, mainly because they put so much sanctions on Russia. All of the sanctions that they have put on Russia have failed. Russia still stands. Russia still is very powerful. Russia is not going to be an easy opponent to defeat. It's just not going to happen. It don't matter how much propaganda they put out here to make us believe differently. Because they're never going to be straight up with you any goddamn way. They're not going to ever say, well, we're losing the war. Well, they're damn sure they're not winning, but they will never tell you that they're losing. So what I'm saying here is we're going to continue to put money into Ukraine. Just like Joe Biden said, we're going to do it for as long as it takes, right? So we're going to continue to dump money into Ukraine. It's not going to slow down. Also, NATO will continue to supply more weaponry, so on and so forth, right? Excuse me. But we are doing it at the expense of our own people, which is the greatest commodity. The greatest commodity is the people. So we are putting people under unbelievable amounts of stress. Stress that they have never felt in their entire life because we have never been in this type of situation. Now, in war, there's always money to be gained, right? So there's money being made. However, when you lose a war and you have invested billions of dollars and you have crippled your own economy funding this war, it's not just going to bounce back. I just read in the media that Germany will experience a recession at the end of this year. And Germany was once the superpower of the EU. So the superpower of the EU just said recently that they will go into a recession at the end of 2023. Why? Because of record inflation. They can't even pay their workers. The workers are asking for a 12 to 15% raise in their funds, right? They want a 12 to 15% raise. Now, whether it's going to happen or not, who knows? But the fact that they had to shut down the entire transit system is very telling. But you see, we're not going to know that looking at American news. I'm sure everything I'm telling y'all is not being reported on the news, the American news. How do I know? Because I got to look at foreign news to even understand this. I got to look at alternative outlets to even see what's truly going on a worldwide level. So that's why I'm saying I'm not just looking at what's going on here. I'm looking at what's going on in the entire world because the entire world is involved. Meaning NATO has a lot of countries. And again, Russia is huge. And now that Russia and China are synchronized, there is no fucking way that we're going to defeat Russia and China. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It don't matter. This is a situation that money can't fix, which we don't know how to operate when we can't just throw money at a problem. Because you see, that's what we're doing already. We keep throwing Ukraine more and more money, but they're not winning. All we know how to do is throw money to a situation. But as we see, money can't fix this. This is not a fixable problem just throwing billions of dollars worth of weaponry when Russia can defend against all of that. Russia is one of the most advanced, if not the most advanced, in their military and their weaponry. You probably also didn't know that we're testing out hypersonic missiles. The US has been testing hypersonic missiles and they have failed the last 4 times. Meaning we are not even up to par with our weaponry to even defend against hypersonic missiles. We don't even have hypersonic missiles of our own. Because the last 4 tests, and the most recent one was recently, all failed. They are not succeeding. So we are not the most advanced country when it comes to weaponry. Because again, Russia is just doing all types of testing with hypersonic missiles successfully. Not us. We failed the last 4 times. Why do you think that is? As I just explained, all we know how to do is throw money at a situation. But this is a situation that money cannot fix. This is a situation that will not be stopped. This is a situation that will end in the victory of Russia. And I'm saying that as an American, right? So I'm not saying that because, I'm just on the side of Russia or anything. I'm just looking at the whole scenario. What's up, Ty? Much love and respect to you. Much love and respect. I'm looking at the entire situation, and it's not looking good. I'm saying this to say all of these secret societies, whether we want to call it the Illuminati, again, Master Mason, Secret Society, the Hidden Hand, all of these societies are invested in Ukraine. They are invested in us being victorious in Ukraine. All this money is coming from all of these hidden societies. They want to be victorious because they are the ones who's putting all these unnecessary, illegal operations going on in Ukraine, which has made Ukraine the most corrupt place on the planet. So we be talking shit about China, we talk shit about Russia, we talk shit about these people, that country. But the most corrupt country on the planet at this point has American dollars funding it. There's just no way around this. So when we are not able to be victorious, all right, what's up, Ashe? Salute to you. Much love and respect. When we don't win, when we have to take that L that we're simply refusing to take, and I also just saw on the news that Afghanistan showed off all of the weaponry and everything that we left in Afghanistan. They just showed the pictures. You have hundreds of vehicles. You got all type of guns. We left billions of dollars of weaponry in Afghanistan. What's up, Red Pill? Salute to you. We left all these billions of dollars in Afghanistan and they're just showing it off. Again, we're just fumbling the ball over and over and over again. But we're not learning our lesson. We fumbled the ball in Afghanistan. We fumbled the ball in Haiti. I've been telling y'all about Haiti. They will not report about this on the news, but Haiti is having its own revolution because it feels that American dollars are corrupting their politicians. So they are rising up against their politicians, right? Russia is capturing the weapons that were given to Ukraine because Russia is more advanced. We cannot compete against Russia. That's why it's taking the whole NATO. So it's not, if we were just funding Ukraine by ourselves, Ukraine would have been off the map by now. That's why it is taking the entire NATO to defend against one country. What do we think? What are we thinking here? You have the entire NATO going up against one country called Russia. So Russia is defending itself against all of the EU that are included in NATO and the US, and we're not even doing shit. So that's letting you know right there. They have been at this for a long time. They have been setting up NATO ever since World War II. So this has been a long-term thing. This has been going on for quite some time. So everything that we're seeing now, even though it just seems like it just happening out of nowhere, it's not. This has been a long build-up. That's why they're quoting it. World War III may pop off because of this, because this has been happening for a long time. We have wanted to take Russia off of the map for a long time. That's why we had to build up NATO for Russia and for China. But Russia and China never really officially made ties until recently when the president Z went to Russia and then made it official that okay, we homies. Ain't shit gonna happen to Russia under our watch. So I'm like, all right, game over. There's no way we're gonna defeat both of this. It's game over. So all we're gonna do is continue to pour money. We're going to continue to lose money. Inflation will continue to be higher. People will literally begin to destroy themselves. Why? Because all this do is makes people vices even more severe. So all these people who have to depend on the alcohol, all these people that have to depend on the medical drugs or the illegal drugs, the street drugs, all this is going to do is make people more devastated, right? But we're going to continue to throw the money till there's no more money left to throw. Ukraine will fall. Ukraine will fall. Along with all this other bullshit, to the point where there's no need to even talk about the Illuminati no more. There's no need to talk about the powers that be anymore. There's just no need. I'm not saying that they don't exist, but there's no need to even talk about conspiracy theories because we have to understand that if we are not able to build Ukraine back into the superpower that we want it to be, because again, most people don't realize is what's going on in Ukraine is ridiculous. Meaning they are outlawing anything that's Russian. Meaning they are wiping the entire Russian history from Ukraine as if Ukraine just exists by itself. They don't even want you speaking the Russian language in Ukraine, even though half of the population of Ukraine was Russian. So they are essentially cutting off half of the population. Meaning what's going on in Kiev, what's going on in Ukraine is absolutely ridiculous. But of course, we got our hands all in it. So what do we really expect? So just letting it be known that this is the end of all this bullshit. This is the end of it. I'm not saying it's going to end tomorrow. I'm saying as we continue to move on in the future, we're going to see again whether it's the deep state, Illuminati, Jesuits, Jews, Jewish people, not all Jews, the negative ones. All the people that we have been doing business with because we have outsourced all of our manufacturing. That's why most of the stuff is made in China. We're getting oil from the Middle East. We're doing everything we can to keep jobs out of America. So we don't have a America first mentality at this point, especially the people that are in power now. Whether you want to call it the Bidens, whether you want to call it the Democrats. If you agree with the Democratic position, then you're not pro-American because there's nothing that they're doing. But let me explain to you why they're doing that because they want the foreigners to be on their side. So when I say the foreigners, you know that we've been bringing foreigners over here. The foreigners from the southern border have been allowed to come in. The refugees from Ukraine have been coming in. We have been just pulling all types of foreigners into this country, right? So of course they will vote Democrat because it's the Democrats that brought them here. So of course they're going to vote Democrat. So essentially what they're trying to do is circumnavigate the actual Americans here. Meaning they don't care about my vote, they don't care about your vote. They're dependent on the foreigners' vote. That's part of the reason why Joe Biden was even elected the president. It wasn't because majority of the Americans voted. It was also due to all of the foreigners that have been brought in, that continue to be brought in to the point where this country will be unrecognizable to what you grew up seeing. Because again, this is just the agenda of the Democrats, of the Biden policies, right? This will be the result of that. So they're pushing me and you out of the picture, right? Being that you have the foreigners coming over here, you think they're paying rent? They're staying in fucking hotels. So while we have to pay mortgages, while we have to pay rent, they're housed for free. They're eating for free. They're here for free. They have whole programs already set up for them. Okay, here's when you go when you're ready to work a job. Go over here. They already have, people to take care of the children. They got whole systems already in place for them to get into a position of power that even you can't get in. But this is nothing new now, is it? Because for the Democrats, and again, I'm not disrespecting the individuals. I'm just speaking about the politicians and the ones that are passing the laws, not the individual people. All right, all of these foreigners, and again, no disrespect to them either. They're just taking the opportunity that's given to them. They don't know any better. All right, the Ukrainians literally get to come here and apply for SSI. This is what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. They have everything already lined up for them. Things that you can't even get. Things that we have been fighting for decades is already handed to them. Why? That they're just letting you know where they are putting or investing their interests. They are interested in the foreigners. They want America to be a country of foreigners. They essentially want to wipe us off of the board, which is what they're doing, right? Because they are squeezing us harder than they ever squeezed us before, right? Inflation has never really been this high, right? We got insane prices. We know how much the price of eggs. We got insane prices. We know people can barely afford this. So what does it do? It forces us to eat worse. Because you can't afford the healthy stuff, so now you got to eat the junk shit. Now you got to eat the bullshit, which then deteriorates your health, deteriorates your physical health, your mental health, and your spiritual health, and it makes you useless. Because what can we really do when all of the resources are being given to everyone else? Again, we see how much money is going to Ukraine. These are foreigners. We're investing more money in Ukraine than our own people here. The amount of money we have sent to Ukraine could have ended poverty, could have ended hunger in America. But we see where the interest is. Imagine if $1 billion went to one of the desecrated cities in America. Imagine if they put $1 billion into a city like Baltimore, a city like Detroit, a city like Chicago, a city like Philadelphia. These places that have become wastelands, right? Things will be completely different. But you see, that's not what we want to do here because we don't care about the people already there. Let them die, let them suffer, and we're going to make money off of their death, right? Damn, how do I get that hookup there? They aren't going to hook up a California native. Nah, nope. No, because that's not their interest. Their interest is in the foreigners. They want the people to come over here, get into these programs, and become Democrats and vote these people into power. People that's pro, all of these things that seem insane, we're going to vote for it, and it's going to become law. And so be it, because it ain't no stopping it. Remember, they got their mind made up. They have this plan. They have 100-year plan. They have 50-year plans, 25-year plans. So they have already planned long term. So if we think Joe Biden has just figured some shit out recently, no, he's probably not even making the decisions. They already know what they're doing. We're just watching it play out. So of course it seems confusing to us. Hold on, give me 1 second here. Hold on, let me make sure this computer has the charger. Hold on. Give me 1 second here. Hold on. Let me plug this charger up. Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second here. All right. All right, we're good. So everything that we see popping off. has already been planned ahead of time. They're just making it obvious that you are not their priority and you will never be their priority, right? You're not the priority, you will never be the priority. They are essentially leaving you to fend for yourself. It just is what it is, right? And that's why I stay talking about cryptocurrency. I stay talking about we have to find ways to navigate outside this system. The system was never designed for us in the first place. As we know, when the Constitution was written, a lot of people who signed their name on that Constitution were slave owners. Slavery didn't end. Remember, the Constitution was written in 1776, right? 1776. The Declaration of Independence, right? So I don't want to get those confused. The Declaration of Independence, 1776. Slavery didn't end to 1865, over 100 years later. So who was the Declaration of Independence for if slavery took another 100 years to be ended by Abraham Lincoln with the Emancipation, right? I'm forgetting the name of it, right? The Emancipation Declaration, whatever it's called, right? We know we're talking about Abraham Lincoln, the fifth president, which we know was a political play in the first place. It's not that he felt for slaves, it's just that the South had too much power, right? What's up, Nexus 93? The South had too much power, and the North could not successfully fight against the South because they wasn't paying any money. Everything was free labor. You can't compete with free labor. That's all it is. You cannot compete with free labor. So that's why slavery was ended. It wasn't because, oh, this is the wrong thing to do. Where do we go from here? That's what I'm saying now. Cryptocurrency. We cannot depend on the American dollar because it's going to keep going up, 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 up. Inflation going up, 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 up. And they're just going to leave you to die. It is what it is, right? Because they clearly don't care. So we must introduce ourselves to foreign currencies. We must introduce ourselves to cryptocurrencies. There we go. Proclamation. There we go. Emancipation proclamation. I appreciate that, Avery. Right. So we must familiarize ourselves with different systems that are never being promoted. As you see, America is not pro cryptocurrency. If anything, they're going to come out with a digital dollar before they accept cryptocurrency. They're never going to accept it. Again, if you look at the secretary that manages all the U.S. affairs and the finances, Janet Yellen or something, right? Janet Yellen, Yellen. She just proposed a digital dollar. So this is their plans. So they want you to be under an American digital dollar before they want you to have crypto wallets. Before they want you to invest in cryptocurrencies, they're going to introduce a digital dollar. This is their plans. If you have been paying attention, right? So I'm just giving y'all the warning as I always do, right? Don't expect this situation to get better. Expect them to hit your wallet even harder. Expect you to have to work damn near like a fucking slave just to get basic necessities. Because again, it's not going to change. Even if, because we're talking about 2024. Let's just say in 2024 that we have a Republican president, right? Who decides, okay, we're no longer going to fund Ukraine, right? So then Ukraine falls. All that's going to do is, which is not much because again, we have literally a whole nother year. We have a whole nother year. So we already know the system is corrupt, the elections are corrupt. America is just fucking corrupt at this point. There is no point of trust in anything about this system. It's systematically racist. We already know this, right? This should be nothing new. They have never wanted you a part of the system. That's why they make it so hard for you to even do this basic shit. That's why they make it so hard for you to get a business loan. You got to meet all these requirements to even be a part of the stock market, to even be a part of Forex. This is where the real money is made. But again, the elites own 90% of the stock market, so you're only You're fighting against everybody else for 10%. So it's like it's already flawed. And we already know about insider trading, which politicians, when they know certain bills are going to be passed and it's going to have a grand effect on the stock market, they already know how to move their money around so that they can continue to enrich themselves. This is just what they do. These are the games they play. So that's why, like, it's impossible to even take any of these people seriously because we can clearly see through it if you have your all-seeing eye activated. If your all-seeing eye is activated, you see through the bullshit. So, us to continue to depend on this system will be at our detriment. Because once all this shit shuts down, the only thing that's going to matter is cryptocurrency. Remember, this is the whole purpose of why cryptocurrency was brought forth in the first place. To me, if you ask me, cryptocurrency is a gift. It is a gift from spirit. What do I mean by that? You think it's a coincidence that cryptocurrency came about 10 years ago, about 2009, right? 2009, 2010. So cryptocurrency only been around about, a decade. But it didn't really start to get hot and popping until more recently, right? The last 5 to 7 years, right? You think this is all a coincidence? And again, America is not pro cryptocurrency because it's not regulated. Anything that's not regulated, America is not for. So they have never been pro cryptocurrency. That's why it's so hard to even deal with that. Because America doesn't want that. They want that digital dollar first and foremost. That's their agenda. And they're going to give all this money to the foreigners so that the foreigners can be the new middle class. They're pushing out the old middle class and making the foreigners the new middle class. This is what they're doing. This is their agenda. I'm just giving you the heads up. The only way to offset the imbalance is to become more familiar with cryptocurrency, to become more familiar with currency as a whole, how to trade currency. Because as long as we remain dependent on the local currency, don't expect your dollar to gain. Well, actually, yes, you should expect your dollar. You're going to be paying more interest on every dollar. It's not going to change. It's not going to slow down. And again, you're not it's not for you in the first place. This system, as I said earlier, is not for us. It was never for us. But what is for us is cryptocurrency. That was designed exactly for us. The reason I say that is because you don't have to go through loops and hoops. In your local city, I'm sure you have been seeing those Bitcoin ATMs popping up. If you live in a major city, you have been seeing more and more at the local gas stations and all that. You have been seeing those cryptocurrency ATMs. That's something that's happening more and more. Why do you think that is? It's not because they want it there. It's not the politicians that are putting these ATMs and these gas stations. Most of the time, the gas stations is ran by foreigners anyway. We know that, right? Those gas stations are ran by foreigners. So the reason why those cryptocurrency ATMs are there is not because of the locals. It's because of the foreigners. Because they already know the game. So that's even why it's there. It's not there because the politicians want it there. If anything, they will oppose it. So when I say the foreigners, all foreigners ain't with the bullshit. Some of them are, but there's many different types of foreigners. You really just have to see who you even connect with, right? Meaning, you may not fuck with Ukrainians, but you may fuck with Russians, even though you're probably not supposed to, but they may be good to you. I say get in where you fit in. It may be people from the Middle East. They may put you up on game. It just really depends on how you operate, honestly. If you know the game, then most likely they will give you information and insight once you prove to them that you know exactly what's going on. Remember, they think most of us are fucking fools anyway. No, they're still on local currency. They're not going to give you the game when, like, again, they already assume the worst about you because look at how our people display themselves. We have no knowledge about what's really going on. Most of the stuff I'm talking about, the average person that looks like me can't don't even know what's going on. They can't explain this. They're not paying that deep enough attention. So there's no way a foreigner is going to look at you as somebody intelligent if we don't even know what's going on in our own country, let alone the world as a whole. They know because they come from there. What's up, True Healing Energy? Much love and respect. So, cryptocurrency is an alternative. That's why it's never promoted. You're never hearing about it. When the last time you heard about it from a politician? When has Joe Biden ever addressed cryptocurrency other than in a negative light? Well, it's not regulated. I don't like it. That's the only thing you're going to hear them even talk about it. They're not for it. But it was designed for you. That's why the creator of cryptocurrency, more likely, the creator of Bitcoin, we don't even know who it is. It's a reason why they hid their identity. We don't even know who created Bitcoin. Their true identity has never been revealed. They use like a secret name, right? We don't even know who the creator is because they knew that they would be destroyed if they revealed who they was. So the whole reason why we even have access to cryptocurrency, we don't even know who the creator is. They could never reveal themselves because they know the consequences of that. They had to remain infamous. Something that I always talk about here, right? While everybody else is chasing fame, the creator of Bitcoin had to remain infamous because that was the only way that this technology would be able to benefit us because they would have been wiped off. They would have been wiped out. So that's what I mean. Most people don't understand. It was peerless, borderless, and unregulated. It still is. It still is. Now they've been trying to regulate it, but they're not going to be successful. It still is free. It still is a free market if you know what you're doing. How do you know which to invest in? There's Bitcoin, Ethereum, was it Cardano, etc. It's not really about investing. See, I'm glad you brought that up because that's where people get it confused. It's not about investments. It's about knowing how the blockchain works, right? You must know how the blockchain works. Most people don't understand the technology that powers the cryptocurrency. That's what I'm talking about. I'm saying educate yourself as to why this exists and why it works. Because the more you know about it, then it's going to become more obvious where you need to allocate your funds. For example, if I just tell you, well, invest in Ethereum, it's going to go up. Invest here, invest there. There's no guarantees in that. And I would never tell anybody to invest if they don't understand how it works. See, that's how most people got fucked up. People were investing in Bitcoin when Bitcoin was $60,000. Right now, it's probably 30,000, less than 30,000. Let's actually look at the price, right? We don't gotta look at it. It's like under 30,000. But at one time, it was 60,000. So all those people that invested lost money. They lost money. Why? Because they're just investors. They don't know how it works, so they lost their money because they were just trying to get a quick flip. That's not what I'm advising here. I'm not advising you to just look for a quick flip, right? It's super volatile. That's what I mean because it's open 24/7. See, the stock market opens at 9, closes at 5, and you can only make 3 trades a day, right? You can only make 3 trades a day. They're definitely trying to thwart it with some examples like Venezuela. They're trying, but they won't be successful. That's the point that I'm trying to convey, right? It's 28K according to Cash App. Exactly, right under 30K, right? Because I've been paying attention, right? So what I'm saying is, of course, they're going to try to thwart it, but they're not going to be successful because you can still make it happen, even if it gets, let's just say, because in China at one point banned a lot of the cryptocurrency and crypto trading and all that, but you can still get it in if you're smart enough. That's what I mean. That's why I'm recommending cryptocurrency because even if it's banned, you can still get it in if you know what you're doing, if you know how the system works. That's why I'm advising you to learn how it works because if it does come to a point where they do ban it, that's not going to affect you. You know how to put your currency, your cryptocurrency on a ledger. You know how to put your cryptocurrency in a cold wallet. So you know how to keep it off of the blockchain. if you know how it works. There's hot wallets, there's cold wallets. Most people don't know the difference between a hot wallet and a cold wallet, but they're trying to figure out, well, what should I invest in? I'm like, no, let's not start there. We must know the basics. Hot wallets, cold wallets, ledgers. We have to start with the basics, right? And the reason why Cash App even has Bitcoin is because Cash App is not stationed in the US. The bank of Cash App is not here in the US. That's why it's hard for you to get your money back. Like if you send somebody money that you wasn't supposed to send, you know how hard it is to get your money back because it's not one of the three major banks. It's not Wells Fargo, it's not the Bank of America, and it's not Chase. Those are the three major banks. So Cash App, this I believe it's called the Sutin Bank. Cash App is regulated by the Sutin Bank, which is not here in America. So that's why a lot of people also use Cash App because it's not regulated by the US. It's not stationed here. See, this is what I mean. We have to know these things, right? Yes, it's been 30 days still waiting on a refund. That's what I'm saying because it's now if you would have had a problem with Wells Fargo, Chase, or Bank of America, you would have got your money back immediately. Or somebody hacked into my account. I didn't mean to send those funds. They would have your money right back in your account. Very, I guess, at the max, what, 72 days or something? Not 72 days, 72 hours, because it's stationed here. Basically, with Cash App, you are your own bank. You are your own bank. So any mistakes that you make is on you. Any mistake that you make is on you. It ain't no calling, well, I made a mistake. You bet not make a motherfucking mistake. You bet not make a mistake. But you see, you have to have more discipline in order to do that. You got to be more disciplined, right? It's the same thing with cryptocurrency. You are your own bank. If something goes wrong, there is nobody to call. There have been people who lost their Bitcoin. There have been people who lost their wallets and they could never reclaim it because it's on you. It's on you. And that's why I say most people are not ready to take that step, right? Most people are not ready to make that transition. They like having that security. They like having that comfort. Anything go wrong, all I gotta do is get the bank on the phone, everything could be fixed. So most people are not ready to be their own bank. So that's why most people are not into cryptocurrency. Because they don't this system is heavily you gotta be a technomancer to even comprehend this stuff, honestly. This is harder to comprehend than the modern day banks. This is way more advanced. When you have to be your own bank and you gotta understand everything a bank knows. Most people are not willing to learn that. You gotta be a master. You have to be a master of finances. Basically, you have to be a master at finances. But how many people are willing to do that? Even though it will save your life. Let's just say it takes you 5 years to learn this. Cryptocurrency ain't going nowhere. So even if it takes 5 years for you to learn how to be your own bank, it will be worth it. Whatever time you invest to learning how this stuff works will benefit you for the rest of your life. Cryptocurrency is not going nowhere. Cryptocurrency will never fully be shut down. So whatever time it takes is a good investment. So even if you have no money, you don't need any money. If you know how it works, you can find cryptocurrency and start moving with cryptocurrency with no money. That's exactly what I'm talking about. That's the point that it exists. You can start with $0 and come up off crypto. That's what they call the crypto millionaires, right? You know, there's so many people that have become crypto millionaires because they understand how the system works. Cause you don't need because with everything else you need a big ass amount of money to even be a part of forex. You need about $100,000 to even be a part of forex. You need a certain amount of money to even be a part of the stock market. Again, they have all these regulations in place that if you don't meet these regulations, you can't participate. Cryptocurrency does not have these same regulations. You can start with $0. You don't need a big ass investment. That's why most people are not in that anyway. Most people are not trading forex. They don't even know how to do that, which is just trading currency, betting on currency. Most people are not in that game because you need 100,000 just to get started. A lot of people are not into the stock market because you need certain requirements. Again, that's what happens when it's regulated. The stock market is regulated. Forex is regulated. The only thing that's not regulated is cryptocurrency. That's why it doesn't have any requirements, which is the point of its existence. To get the people like you and me, who are not allowed in the system, who are not allowed in the mainstream. So again, so when the American dollar loses value or gains value, it doesn't matter to you because you know how to move off of crypto. You know how to make direct transactions. You can go up to a person, hey, I like your car. How much? Make a Bitcoin transaction. Now the car is yours. Now, if you try to do that through another system, now you got to go through all these regulations. It ain't that easy. Cryptocurrency makes it. You can buy directly. Oh, that's a nice house. Again, smart contracts. If you went to Ethereum, you know about smart contracts. Smart contracts allows large amounts of money to be transferred in a very small amount of time. For example, if you're trying to make $1 million transaction, it takes a while. Meaning, look how long it took Elon Musk to buy Twitter. For those who know, look how long it took to verify all that money, all those billions of dollars, how long it took. However, with smart contracts, you can move large amounts of money in a small amount of time because it's not that you don't have to trust people anymore. You don't have to go off of nobody's word anymore. That smart contract guarantees, okay, when the proper money is exchanged, we good. And if there's a problem, basically they put the money in the escrow account. For those who want to know, they put the money in the escrow account. So until both parties put their money in this escrow account, there's no trading that's done. So they basically you have to put your money in the escrow account. Then the person you're doing business with also put the money in the escrow account, and only then is the money exchanged. However, let's just say they don't put theirs in the escrow account. Then you just get your money back. You don't have to fuck their word. Fuck, okay, I'll be there at this time. Or well, if you don't show up at this time, all my money is gonna do is return back to my wallet and fuck you. So you don't have to go by nobody's word anymore. That's a thing of the past. You don't have to trust people anymore. You trust the technology. That's what cryptocurrency is about. Fuck trusting people, these lying ass bitches. Fuck these people, these lying ass niggas that we gotta deal with on a daily basis. Fuck them. Trust the technology. Fuck people when they're low demonic, and I don't want to fuck. I don't want to say demonic because demons are not all bad, as we know, right? It's just human nature. Fuck human nature. Now we get to trust technology. Now we become cybernetic. Now we become technomancers and cyber magicians. Everything I be talking about, right? It's just, it is what it is, right? So I'm just giving you the game as I always give you, right? So it's the end of all that bullshit. Begin to understand the system of cryptocurrency and why it exists. Do your history about how it came to be, and then you will understand why it's the perfect solution for everything that's happening right now. Imagine if cryptocurrency was not here, it would be a whole different world. Cryptocurrency is what's keeping everything balanced. Little do we know. Imagine a world without crypto right now. Crypto is a reason why you don't even need an ID. Just think about it. For everything you need an ID for, it's no longer required with cryptocurrency. What do you need an ID for? You got to show an ID for damn near everything, right? Because this is a regulated system. With cryptocurrency, you ain't got to show nobody shit. They don't even need to know your name to do business with you. They don't even need to know your name. They don't need to know your address. They don't need to verify that you're an American citizen. It doesn't fucking matter what citizen you are. Let's do business. And I don't need to trust you. I trust this technology that we're using. That's the only thing that matters. But you see, that represents a free market. That represents a free society, which why would the government want that? Why would the government want the people to have that much power. Of course, you're not going to want that, but that doesn't mean it shouldn't exist. And that's why cryptocurrency was created, because the creator saw that this system is flawed, not just here in America, the entire world, the entire regulated world. Excuse me. It keeps the average person out of wealth. It's not a coincidence that most of us have no wealth or riches, because this system is highly regulated to keep us away from these resources on purpose. But they can't regulate cryptocurrency. That's the whole thing, right? We will probably be forced to have regulated digital currency. Yes, when the dollar becomes digital, it will be regulated. The digital American dollar will be regulated. Maybe even Bitcoin may be regulated. I'll throw that out there. Bitcoin itself may even be regulated, but there's still other cryptocurrencies that won't. So you don't even have to even give a fuck about Bitcoin. See, that's the thing. There's so many cryptocurrencies out here. You don't even need Bitcoin. Bitcoin, it was just to get us through the door. That's all. Bitcoin was just to get us through the door. But we don't. You don't need to depend on Bitcoin either, because there's so many other ones. You got Bitcoin Cash. You got Monero. You got Zcash, and those are the cryptocurrencies that they cannot trace. Those are the most dangerous cryptocurrencies. Monero, Zcash, and it's another one. I think I'm not sure about the name of it. It's Monero, Zcash, and it's another one. Those are, you can't even trace that. Those are untraceable transactions. See, every transaction you make on Bitcoin is on the blockchain, right? Which is public, right? I think I just saw them deplatform my Monero. That's what I'm saying, because you can't trace that. You can't trace it. So now you got to find out how to operate in the underworld, which is all I'll be talking about, right? That's why I talk about infamy. If you really want to be a pro, let me not say that. If you truly want to be a crypt keeper, you must learn how to operate in infamy. You must learn how to be infamous, right? I had to take my Monero off of Bittrex and place it on Kraken. If that's what you got to do, that's what you got to do. That's what I'm saying. When you know how this stuff works, it ain't nothing to move it around. You can do this shit instantly. It's not a big deal. If one if one thing shuts down, there's always another option. See, we don't have that option with local currency. If the American dollar gets shut down, what the fuck is most people gonna do? However, if Bitcoin gets shut down, cryptocurrency still exists. Ethereum gets shut down, cryptocurrency still exists. What's up, Mary? 93. Salute to you. Much love and respect. That's what I'm saying. So we don't need to put all our eggs in any one basket, right? I was introduced to Telegram through crypto. A lot of folks use Telegram for crypto because Telegram is unregulated. Telegram actually is Russian. For those who don't know, Telegram is Russian. That's also why I use it. But you see, that's why we have to do the history of these apps that we use so that we can understand where they come from and where they're going, right? So Telegram is a Russian entity, whether we realize it or not. So we're already pro-Russian just using Telegram. That's also why a lot of people don't use Telegram, right? I found myself in an underground group on Telegram, as you should, as you should. You must master the underworld. It's either you do it now or you're gonna be forced to do it when shit hit the fan. If you don't get started now, you're gonna be forced to do it, and it's gonna be a lot more harder. The longer we wait, it's gonna be a lot harder. Right? Only app I can delete a conversation and it disappears forever. Exactly. You can't do that shit with WhatsApp. Right? You can't do that shit with all this other shit with Signal and all those other apps. That's why Telegram is where it's at. Right? And there's a reason for that, right? Because they know that people want their privacy. You better be using a VPN as well. You better be using a VPN because that's also how we're being tracked. They know every website you visit on your phone, on your computer, on your laptop. You better be using a VPN. Otherwise, they know all of your business. They know every app on your phone. They know every software on your computer. They know what computer. Everything is all in the data. But most people don't use a VPN, now do they? So that's what I'm saying. Most people are slow as fuck, and they're not going to catch up. They're just going to be caught out with no resources. And just make sure that that's not you. Just make sure that that's not you. So that's my message here, right? So I see we're 55 minutes in. We'll shut it down 60 minutes, so about 5 minutes. I think I said everything I need to say. It's the end of the world as we know it. Get on the deregulated train, right? They don't even use incognito mode. Well, that's useless without a VPN. Incognito is not going to protect you from your internet service provider. They still know what the fuck you're doing. So incognito without a VPN is not enough. You need a VPN, and if you really want to be super protected, you must also use Tor. Use a VPN and use Tor if you want to be ultra protected. But if you're not going to do that, then just use a VPN, right? So as you see, I know about all this stuff, right? Because I was forced. So that's why I've been telling y'all I was forced to know all this stuff because this is how I had to survive, right? If I didn't know about all this stuff, I probably wouldn't be here. Because I'm damn sure not here because the system wants me here. I'm not here because the system gave me any grace. That's not why I'm here. I'm here because I had to master infamy and being infamous. That's why I always talk about this, right? It's the only reason I'm here. I have to put my life into crypto, right? I'm here because of crypto exists. And I was there when crypto. The reason why I know all this, it ain't because I started recently studying this. I've been up on Bitcoin since Bitcoin existed. I remember, again, we ain't even got to talk about that. So, as you see, everything is coming off the top of my dome. I don't have any notes here. So, this has been in my mind for years and years and years and years and years, and I had to put it into practice. Right? So that's why I know this. This is because of practice and just years and years and years of study. Right? This ain't just I just learned all this recently. Right? But that's what I mean. Because I had to put it in practice, that's why it's in my heart now. I can just tell you all this, right? And I don't even remember the last time I even looked up cryptocurrency. And anything that I just told y'all, I don't remember the last time I looked up any of that stuff. That's just already in me. Right? It's just already in my mind. As it should be. Right? That's what I mean. We don't need no dependencies. You should not depend on notes because your notes can be confiscated or not compensated, confiscated, right? What if somebody snatch your notes? Now what you gonna do? That's why I don't even write nothing down no more. Because what happens when you lose your notes? Now you don't know anything. That's why you have to put it in your memory banks, which is what most people don't use. Most people know about the banks, but they don't know about the memory banks, aka the Akashic Records. Your Akashic Records is for you to utilize. You need to activate the Akashic Records. That's what expands your mind. That's what keeps you in the front of everything instead of you're learning like you're the last to learn. In order to be the first to know about this is spirit. Again, the only reason I've been up on this because I've been in tune with spirit the whole fucking time. This is not because of a human being. No human being told me about crypto. No, maybe you should look into crypto. No human being even understood crypto. Even to this day, I'm not surrounded by nobody that understands this stuff. It's just me. And the only difference between me and everybody else is I'm connected with the spirit. That's the only difference. It's not because I'm smarter. It's not because I have access to some hidden information. I just took the time to educate myself directly from the spirit. What's your perspective on the Saturn return? Well, whenever anybody goes through a Saturn return, it matures you, right? See, most people go through their Saturn return around 20, 29, 30, right? Most people go through their Saturn return, yeah, like the end of their 20s, going on into their 30s, right? That's when we become more mature. That's when we begin, basically, that's when all the veils get taken off. What I mean by all the veils get taken off is now you see the world for what the world really is. Around 29, 30, now you begin to see the world for how the world really is. Like, damn, I really need to work my ass off. Damn, I need to really bust my ass to even get ahead. Like, damn, it's like you just, those damn moments, like, damn, I really gotta labor nonstop to even have a little something. So that's the Saturn return. It matures you. It makes you see things for how it's really are. Can't nobody really deceive you at that point. You know what I mean? You can see bullshit a mile away at that point. Nobody can talk to you and scam you out of shit no more. You already know what it is. You develop your killer instinct. That's what happens with your Saturn return. You develop your killer instinct. So whenever a Saturn is going through a retrograde, or when the Saturn is not a retrograde, when Saturn's going through its return, the killer instinct is activated. People become more, again, the same thing that happened around Christmas time, Capricorn season. People work their ass off to get those presents under that tree, right? They're gonna work overtime, double shifts, because they know the only way for me to get these presents under this tree, I gotta work double shifts, I gotta work overtime, and somehow we have the energy for it, right? People work non-stop around Capricorn season. Then going into New Year's, it's still Capricorn season. So our New Year, January 1st, is Capricorn season, which is ruled by Saturn, which is right in the middle of winter, right? More not the middle, more you're still like a week or two into winter. So that's when that seagull rises up, as we call the devil, right? The Capricorn card and the tarot is the devil card. No coincidence there, right? So our new year, January 1st, is in the season of the devil. No coincidence there, right? It is what it is. It just depends on how you feel about it, right? But you see, I just claim this shit like it ain't nothing. So, but I know everybody's not gonna do that. People still are God fearing. So it is what it is with that, right? It's personal choice. So the Saturns, it just yeah, the winter solstice exactly, which is the devil solstice. The devil's that's the real, right? Let me pull my that's the real energy. But I ain't trying to get too into that, right? We talk about that way too goddamn much anyway, right? So we ain't got to get into the double talk. Then that's also something I stopped doing is writing everything down. I noticed I stopped writing down everything way less, as you should. Put everything in your memory, you will be good to go. Put everything in your memory, you will be good to go. I guarantee it. I guarantee it, because now you're forcing yourself to utilize the fullness of your mind. We got lazy with technology. Now you don't have to remember people's numbers. You don't have to remember people's names. You don't have to really remember anything. But it makes us lazy. So when you train your memory, which is something you could say the older generations had to do, that's also what makes them greater than us. We may be more smarter, we may be more technological, but they had access to their memory. That's what made them so spiritual. That's why when you look at your great grandparents, when you look at your grandparents, they're different. They got a whole different vibe, whole different aura. Because again, they couldn't depend on technology. The only thing they had is this and this. That's all they had was this and this. So if they wanted to get anywhere in life, they had to increase their intelligence and they had to rely on their heart. Follow their heart. That's all they had. Now we don't depend on this or this. We just depend on what's going on with the technology, right? I don't program people's numbers so I can memorize them. It's a good exercise, right? Especially when you know what every number means, which we always talk about, right? Meaning you know exactly who you're dealing with based off of their phone number. But again, people be slipping. They don't realize how important it is for you to know these things by heart. So if somebody tell you their number and you break it down like, oh shit, I know exactly what's going on. Meaning, oh, if you think I'm playing, change your number right now. Change your number right now. Well, not right now. But if you don't believe me, change your phone number. Then start talking to the same people that you've been talking to, and you tell me if it's a different vibe. So do this shit for yourself. Change your phone number, or just get an alternative number, like get a Google Voice number or a text free number. They got all these apps for alternative number. Talk to the same people and see how the vibe is different. See how the conversation moves in a different way because your number is different. There's a reason for that. So when you really look at your phone, well, I don't want to call it your phone. You can say, I call it your etheric double. When we talk on the phones, it's not you talking, it's your etheric double because it has to be filtered by the numbers. The numbers are the filters. So if your number breaks down to a number five, for example, you're going to be a very chatty person on the phone because that's just the energy of five. For example, if it's a number eight, you're going to be very business oriented. You're like, I don't want to talk to you. If you ain't talking business, get the fuck on. You're going to have a different mentality based on your phone number. Why you think they don't allow they don't allow you to pick your phone number now, do they? They don't even allow you to pick your phone number unless you use one of these apps or Google Voice. But your normal phone provider, they didn't allow you to pick your phone number. There's a reason for that. And even when you change your number, do they let you? Okay, well, what number do you want? No, they just give you a fucking number. You see, you don't even have any control over that process unless you have an alternative number. Then they give you a list of numbers that you can choose from, so you have more control over the vibration of your energy that you project based off of your etheric double. But you see, that's modern times. That's 21st century, right? I wonder if the technology is corroding our third eye and slowly replacing us. I've noticed it's difficult for anyone from my past to reestablish connection. Fuck them. I say fuck them. Anybody that's in your past, fuck them. You don't need to reestablish connection. For what? Again, that's just me being harsh, right? That's just me being harsh. I say fuck them, meaning I just say that because that's just my mentality. I don't talk to anybody in my past. Like the people that I went to school with, don't know them, don't give a fuck. The people that I used to work with, don't talk to them. It is what it is. Meaning everybody in my past before '93, I have no communications with and don't care to communicate with them. I may only see them on Facebook or something, right? But who cares? Because when I look at what everybody's doing, they doing regular shit. I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. Then when you say is technology corroding our third eye, no, it's actually enhancing your third eye. Your third eye is enhanced by technology. Technology is the reason why we're even able to communicate now. So it's not eroding your third eye. It's only if you're not using it. That's what corrodes it. If you're not using it. Technology ain't slowing shit down. Now, am I saying you should sleep in a room full of connections and electron devices and all that? Maybe you shouldn't. But the third eye is more powerful than that. So who cares? At the end of the day, who the fuck cares? As long as you know exactly how to keep your third eye activated and keep it stimulated, technology ain't stopping the goddamn thing. But it will enhance your third eye because technology allows us to access what hurts. Do you know what hurts help to unlock your third eye? Because if you know what hurts that help to unlock your third eye, how are you going to get to those hurts if you don't use technology? Just simple stuff, right? You have hertz, 432 hertz, 528 hertz. There's a certain hertz that activates your third eye. How are you going to get to that hertz without technology? So that's what I'm saying. It's how you use technology. Technology is not inherently fucked up, right? Can't always carry a singing bowl. And you shouldn't want to either because you don't need to anymore. When you can just type in YouTube, activate the third eye. Yeah, why would you carry around a singing bowl? You got YouTube. You got headphones, right? It's so easy and simple. We don't need to do none of that shit. Fuck all that shit, honestly. Fuck those ancient tools. We're not in ancient times. Use technology. Your ancestors didn't have fucking Apple laptops and HP laptops, right? All these major brands, right? The ancestors couldn't do that. They couldn't just type in a hertz and it just pops up instantaneously. But we can do it. So we should be taking advantage, or we will be taken advantage of. They didn't have Chat GPT, but you do. And Bard, I'm using Bard right now. That's Google's version of Chat GPT. You had to get invited. I was on a waiting list. I'm using Bard right now. I'm using Adobe Firefly right now. I'm using advanced technology. I got the app open right now on my computer. Right. I just saw the email signing up. Again, I was on it the same day. When anything technological wise, I'm on it same day. Because I call myself a technomancer, I need to be on it, right? I need to be ahead of the curve. If I call myself a technomancer, if I call myself a cyber magician, I need to know the same day it dropped. So whatever happens, I know it dropped same day. I was on that waiting list same day, and they just gave me access to it. I got access to Adobe Firefly maybe 2 days ago. I've been creating all type of images and shit, but I was on it instantaneously. But again, that's just because I'm a technomancer. I need to be up on it. So it's not even because I want to. I need to be able to see what's going on. I was just looking up the number 23. I was just looking up, okay, what does Bard have to say about the number 23? You know what it said about the number 23? That is connected to Thelema. The number 23 is connected to Thelema. Well, what made me want to look up 23? I'll show you right now. I just so happen to be looking at my phone. I'll show you the screenshot. All right, this just happened. Remember, I started this live stream at what, 12? So this just happened like right before I started this live stream. Here it is right now. You see that? You see 2323, and it was 23% in battery, right? So I had 23% battery, and it was 2323. I'm like, damn, that's kind of a coincidence. I'm like, 23 three times on one screen. I type it in Bard. 23 is associated with the Lima. 23 is a number of the heart of the lion. You have to explain that a little bit more. I don't even know what that means. It's the heart of the lion. I have no idea what that even means. Can you explain that in more detail? Because I can tell you a lot about 23, but I have no idea what you like. You just spoken symbolic code right there. You just spoken symbolic code right there. I have no idea what that means. I think I noticed that I see so much programming. If I don't monitor my consumption, I do feel there is a plethora of subliminal suggestion to devolve us. So you're basically saying that programming is stronger than your mind. That's what you're saying. Programming is stronger than your mind. That you don't have the ability to supersede any program that they shoot at you. That sounds very interesting. The heart of the line. I'm trying to figure out what that means. I don't even know what that means. That's why I'm like, I don't like. What does that even mean? Like, if somebody just told you that, oh, that's the heart of the line. Like, what do you mean by that? I have no idea what that means. Now, I probably can Google it, but I don't even know if it would be referring to what they're referring to. So that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm like, well, let me Google what that means. I can Google it right now, but it don't mean that it's talking about what they're talking about. Hold on, let me see. Cause again, that's just a little bit too vague. That's just a little bit too vague. Did you just use Dragon Ball Z lingo? That's funny. That's funny. I read that and I interpret it as five, Leo, fifth sign. So you're just doing pure number. Okay, hold on. This is what come up when I type in heart of the lion. This takes me directly to the constellation of Regulus, right? Regulus is also commonly known as Quab al Atsid, from the Arabic phrase meaning the heart of the lion. The constellation Leo, the lion, of which Regulus is the most prominent member, consists of a sickle-shaped set of stars that some describe as a backwards question mark. That's what you're talking about? You're talking about that backwards question mark? Because that's the first thing that popped up when I typed in Heart of the Lion. It took me directly to the star constellation of Leo. But let me explain, right? Let me explain where I'm coming from so that I'm making myself clear. I don't wanna be vague here. I don't wanna be vague here. All you gotta do is type in 23 Enigma, right? All you gotta do is type in 23 Enigma, Wikipedia. Wikipedia. Wait, hold on. 23 Enigma. What does it say? The 23 Enigma is a belief in the significance of the number 23. The concept of the 23 Enigma has been popularized by various books, movies, and conspiracy theories, which suggest that the number 23 appears with an unusual frequency in various contexts and may be a symbol of some larger hidden significance. That's what I'm talking about. Meaning, we ain't even cracked the code yet. We ain't even cracked the code yet, right? So people may give references, but they ain't even cracked the code yet. They haven't cracked the code because they're not into the Lima. I just researched that just now. Fuck it. Fuck it. I just researched it before I went live. Hold on. I'll bring this shit up right now. Let me bring this shit up right now. I literally just did it. Watch this. Let me flip the camera around. Hold on. Here we go. You see that? Hold on. Let me pause this music. Let me pause this music. Hold on. What's up, JD93? You see what this says? The connection between the number 23 and Thelema is a complex one. Some people believe that the number 23 is a sacred number that appears frequently in Thelema, while others believe it is simply a coincidence. The number 23 appears frequently in Thelema. For example, the 23rd major arcana card in the tarot is called the Hierophant, which is a card that represents the establishment of tradition and transmission of knowledge. The 23rd verse of Liber al Veg Legis, which is the book of the law, which is a holy book of Thelema, is also a significant verse. But you see, they don't quote the verse, right? They don't quote the verse. So I'm just showing you. Let me move that out the way. I literally just researched this right before I went live because of that the number just popped up on my phone right before I went live. So I'm like, oh shit, this go directly into Thelema? Oh, this is my, I'm like, oh shit, you already know. Who's better to decode it? So the reason why they say it's still unknown is because they're not Thelemites. They haven't read the literature. As you see, it's the 23rd verse of Thelema, but they don't quote the verse. They don't quote the verse. You know why they don't quote the verse? Because it's fucking crazy. That's why. That's why they do. The fucking 23rd verse is crazy. That's why they don't quote it. So that's to be expected by the mainstream. Why they don't want that information out there. So they'll let you know it is a part of the Lima, but we're not going to quote the verse. So so yes, the 23 has all these connections, right? But the deepest connection is the connection to the Lima. That's the hidden code because the Lima was revealed by Awas. It's a direct revelation from Awas, which I also already know, right? I already talked about that, right? So it was meant for me to. I'm like, yeah, it's meant for you to decode this number now, because who the fuck else is gonna do it? I'm like, yeah, who else is gonna do it, right? So I'm like, okay, that's another mystery for me to crack. I'll do it at a later date. I'm not gonna do it now. I'll do it at a later date. I have theories as to what it may mean, because I know all of the 23rd verses. You have the first chapter, the second chapter, the third chapter. They all have a 23rd verse, and those verses is ridiculous. In the Mexican card game, what is it, Loteria, which is esoteric symbolism, there is a moon card called La Luna with the number 23. Yeah, La Luna. I'm familiar with that. That's correct. But again, I'm gonna hold those mysteries for now, right? Cause I don't wanna say too much right now. But you should already know, if you're familiar with the Book of the Law. You should already know those 23rd verses, right? The verse from Nuwit, the verse from Hadit, and the verse from Rahakuit. Those are extremely important. Those probably you can say those are. If it is not the most important verse, it's one of the top five. So I can only imagine. You don't have to imagine. You can just look it up. You can just look it up right now. You don't even have to imagine it. You can look it up right now. The 23rd verse in chapter 1 comes from Nuit, which he talks about her secret name. She said, okay, my mainstream name is Nuit. So in chapter 23 is basically the 22nd verse in chapter 1. It speaks about Nuit. She says, the world, not, this is verbatim. Well, this is not verbatim, basically, right? The 22nd verse in chapter 1 of the book of the law is Nuit speaking. She's speaking about there should be no differences between one thing or another, right? Meaning don't put value in one thing over another, meaning don't value love over hate, in other words, right? Everybody wants love, but we see there's a lot of hateful motherfuckers in this world, because that's just the opposite. She has a secret name. For those who truly know her, will know her by a secret name. So the 23rd verse says, whoever cracks this code will be the chief of all. That's directly from Nuit. So like whoever cracks that code with my secret name will be the chief of all. That's directly from Nuit. The 23rd verse in chapter 2 from Hadid, he says, I am alone. There is no God where I am. Which is very, if you're a religious person, that you don't want to hear nothing like that. I am alone. There is no God where I am. That's a direct quote. Chapter 2, Book of the Law. I am alone. There is no God where I am. Chapter 3, Book of the Law, the 23rd verse. It gives you an alchemical mixture. What I mean by alchemical mixture, it tells you how to whip up an elixir, which includes blood. So of course, most people, they don't want nothing to do with that. So like, put it away. So chapter 1, Nuit, she mentions her secret name. Those who really know me will know me by a secret name, and when you know me by my secret name, you will be the chief of all. Chapter 2, I am alone. There is no God where I am. Chapter 3 showed you how to mix up an elixir to activate your third eye, which includes blood. Which again, most people are not vampires, so they don't want nothing to do with that. So again, it's a book of the law for a reason. So I'm just giving you hints, just hints, just to let you know. So it's just some little hints you can contemplate as to what that may mean, as to what it doesn't mean. It's just little hints. Because obviously you have to read more literature to even comprehend the book of the law. Like the book of the law is the foundation of the Lima, but you're not even going to understand the book of the law without reading the other literature, because the other literature is giving you the insight about the book of the law. So there's that. So that's what I mean. Like you really got to be deep into the literature to even crack these codes, which is why most people have not cracked the codes, because they just know about Alistair Crowley. They don't know about the literature. They haven't read the literature. right? Because it's not easy to read. So I'm not saying like they're scared of it. It's just not easy to read. It's full of codes that will only be revealed by the Spirit, as Newitt just explained in chapter 1. Those who really know me will know me by a secret name. Well, how the fuck are you supposed to know this secret name? You gotta really be about this shit. So Newitt tells you that in chapter 1. If you're not really about this shit, you're not gonna know me. It's just that simple, right? But those who do know me will be the chief of all, right? But I think I'm one of the first people who even mentioned secret names. I've talked about secret names years ago, right? I talked about everybody should have a secret name. I talked about that years ago, right? That ain't nothing new. I talked about that long ass time ago. Everybody should have a secret name. Should nobody even know your secret name? Because that's where all your power is in your secret name. How do we know? Because when Aset had to go to Ra to learn the power to bring Asar, because I'm trying not to use the Greek words, right? When Aset went to Ra to learn how to resurrect, he didn't just give her the power. Like, why would I just give that to you? She had to take that shit from him because his power was in his secret name. So once he revealed her his secret name, then that's what gave her the power to resurrect Asar to bring forth Haru. But that was only possible because she had to take Ra's secret name from him. He didn't just give that up willingly. That's just like you giving up your power willingly. And when they know your name, now they can do everything you can do. You ain't just gonna give that shit up willingly. That's why it must be shielded by a secret name, otherwise known as a magical name. And again, that's something I explained years ago. But y'all get the point, right? We're gonna check up out of here. I'm glad I was able to give y'all insight. As y'all see, I always said the best for last, right? Always said the best for last. So with that, I bear peace. 93. Love is a law, love under will. When we say Thelema is the law of the universe. For those who don't know, Thelema is not just a word that people say. Thelema is the law of the universe. Understand that. That's not just a word. It is the law of the universe. So if you truly want to understand the universe, you have to understand the universe by understanding the law of the universe. What is a law? Thelema. That's why it says love is the law. Love under will, because the whole purpose is to discover your true will. That is the law. You have no other reason to be here than to activate your true will. Any other time is just being fucking wasted. Any other time is just being wasted. So let all these idiots exercise their free will, wasting their fucking time. Don't let it be you. Activate your true will as quickly as possible, because that's the only thing that's going to save you, is you are in tune with the law, which is the Lima. So that's why some people want to call it a religion, but it's really a way of life. That's just like the Tao. The Tao is not a religion now, is it? The Tao is the way. It's not a religion, it's the way. Same thing with the Lima. It is the way towards your true will to align yourself with the laws of the universe. Because that is the law. The law is the Lima. That's just the word, but that's what the Lima brought to us, right? Because everybody else is elusive with that law. What's the law of the universe? They can't. They're not just gonna tell you a word. Like, are you talking about the 7 universal laws? No. What is the name of the motherfucking law of the universe? Before the Lima, you couldn't get a clear answer. It wasn't until the Lima came to this world that we got a clear, oh, the law of the universe is fucking the Lima. That's love under will, because people feel like love is the highest vibration. Love conquers all, right? Love conquers all. Well, not according to the Lima. According to the Lima, will is more powerful than love. The only thing that will supersede love is your true will. And with that, it is what it is, 93.